metal support beams are in place as construction crews continue stabilizing the upper floors of the former Pfizer building on 42nd Street.
While the work continues, the focus now turns to the investigation and what exactly caused those columns to buckle in the first place. New York City Councilwoman Pierina Sanchez, the chair of the Council Committee on Housing and Buildings, is now joining us to discuss what steps are being taken to prevent this from happening again. Councilwoman, good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So as the chair of this committee, right, have you been in contact with either the buildings commissioner, the deputy mayor, Lila Bozorg, about the incident and where the investigation currently stands as of this day, Thursday, 2 days after the incident?
Yes, absolutely. We've been in touch since the morning where the collapse began, speaking regularly with the commissioner of buildings. You know, the Department of Buildings, this is what they do. We have 1 million buildings in the city of New York. We have 40,000 construction sites. Unfortunately, this is the biggest and most high profile incident that I have seen while I've been the chair of the Housing Committee. But I had a building collapse in my district. We have had garages collapse. We've had cranes fall. This is Department of Buildings bread and butter. And so I am very confident in them, in the work that they're doing to shore up the building, which is what the commissioner is telling me is the priority right now. And then they will be launching into a full investigation to see what exactly was it that went wrong here.
Okay, so can you tell us what next steps are exactly then? So will there be hearings into this incident?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, they're securing, the perimeter. They're making sure that the area is safe, along with New York City's first responders. Thank you for their work. And then they're going to be launching this investigation. And this is what they typically do after any incident that results in a construction, hazard that threatens the safety of New Yorkers. And so they have to look at a lot of different elements. They have to review their internal processes. Were all of the plans submitted correctly to the Department of Buildings? Were they reviewed? Were all of the steps followed internally? And then they have to look at the construction, the team itself, the developer and the subcontractors. Was everybody on site that was supposed to be? Were the inspections happening at the cadence that they were supposed to be happening? And so they will do this. They say they will keep us posted. But as we do in the City Council, our job is to bring the information to the public, to make sure that the public has visibility into what is happening and all questions are answered. And so we will absolutely, just as we did with Billingsley Terrace, just as we have done with all of the high-profile incidents, we will be following up on this matter to make sure we understand.
Yeah, it's very interesting because you want to see if everything was followed properly. But the developer here, Metroloft, told PIX11, and this is an interesting quote, that this is a localized situation affecting less than 30 apartments out of over 1,600, and at no time was the building or any portion of it at risk of collapse. End quote. But based, I guess, on the city's evacuation orders, the frozen zone, the fact that some folks are still not back into their buildings, it seems like they're downplaying the situation. So what do you make of that statement?
New Yorkers are terrified, and rightfully so. These are beams that we're supposed to be holding up multiple stories above, right? This is one of the first office to residential conversions, that we're using as a city of New York to try to bring more apartments to the city of New York. We have to make sure we understand what happened here. And you know what? Public safety is number one. We have to keep New Yorkers safe. We have to make sure that we lose a life or we lose New Yorkers because we weren't protective enough. And so they can downplay it. They can say whatever they want. We have to make sure New Yorkers are safe. And something went wrong here. Our standards in the city of New York are the strongest probably in the world. We passed our new construction codes in 2022. Those take the international codes and they go over and beyond for the New York City context. We have high rises, we have density. And so our codes are, in every case that I have seen, our codes are not the problem. It's typically a breakdown in how our codes were followed. Yeah. And, a big issue has been the staffing at the agency, right? We've been fighting Department of Buildings around their inspectorial headcount since 2022. Mayor Adams slashed the number of inspectors we had at DOB. We've been clawing that back, but we still are not at pre-pandemic levels in terms of staffing at the agency.
Yeah, and like you said, those inspectors are the ones that determine whether or not the right people are there at the scene of this construction site, right? So one of the construction workers that our team caught up with shortly after that building was evacuated claimed that the contractor used non-union workers at the site. So let's listen to what the worker had to say, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
We went after this project, the ironworkers, the New York City Union ironworkers went after this project, and the general contractor chose to go non-union with it. And all we want is responsible construction in the city of New York. So what happened was they did not shore up the job correctly. The beams started crumbling. The floor started crumbling. This was a total renovation. So they came in, they gutted the building. I believe it was 20-something stories, and then they wanted to add another 16 to it. So you have to rebuild the foundation of it and then go up from there. And they obviously did it incorrectly.
So that worker you just heard said that there were non-union workers on the site. So do you think that it should be a requirement for these larger projects to employ union workers only?
Yeah, look, New York City is a union town, and that is for a reason. Our construction is complex. Our risks are very high. And so that is why so many of our jobs go union. The standards are the standards. And then how are they applied? How are they followed by the workers and by, really by the development companies that are doing these projects? And so, it's probably not no, it's absolutely not an overstatement to say that when we have seen these accidents like this, when we've seen these risks to New York City workers, it's usually been on non-union construction sites. And so, there's a higher standard in the city of New York. That's why we're a union town.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that some lenders and developers may be rethinking projects like this now moving forward in terms of office to residential conversions. Should that be a way to bring back some more additional units where there is such a housing shortage?
Yeah, no, like I said, we're in a housing crisis. We need to throw everything that we can at this problem so we can house New Yorkers. The problem here is not about it being a conversion of office to residential. It has to be about how the work was being completed. It has to be about what wasn't followed. And so that's what we're going to learn with the Department of Buildings investigation, and the New York City Council is also going to have oversight on this so that the public can see what's going on. But we have to dig in and see what exactly happened. What was it about the shoring that was inappropriate? Did they not use the right kind of steel? Did they not use the right amount of steel? Were corners cut? That's what we have to understand, and not specifically this kind of goal of transferring or moving an office building into a residential. It's really about the construction itself.
Yeah, well, obviously New Yorkers are very eager to hear what the answers are to all of those questions, and we appreciate you taking the time with us this morning to tell us what you know so far, Councilwoman.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right.